Okay, we have a few more people back. So, sorry again, guys. I got disconnected. My Streamlabs crashed, and we're back now. So, I will continue. If you missed anything, if you join later, you can just rewind and watch it back. Okay? So, back to the workflow. Howdy, Bruno. Welcome. Greetings, mate. Thank you for joining. Okay, so we're back here. We're back to this image. So now I have the AI Rayoni first version here. I have the original Rayoni colored in here, upscaled and everything. And now I wanted to start animating it. So as you can see here, these are other generations that I was trying and experimenting in creating AI Rayonis inside Weavy. But that's why I preferred using that Photoshop just for this specific case, because it was getting a bit too crazy here, as you can see. Um, I just had to tweak my prompt a bit better. It did some pretty cool ones, like I like this one here. Um, yeah. So for those who are just back, I'm sorry I crashed, but we're back. Thanks for returning. And okay, you can see here the prompts and everything. And that's the beautiful thing of Weavy. Like I said, you can do a bunch of iterations. Once you're happy, you can just select your favorite, plug it in here, and then you go about your business, just transferring this to a bunch of different other nodes. So next step in my process was I really wanted to have other poses of myself doing different kind of things, and also kind of with a different background, making more of an action packed scene. So what I did is I essentially connected that image that I had of AI Rayoni to a few different models here, as you can see: Sea Dream, Gemini, Nano Banana, Flux Contacts, and Flux Contacts as well, but with a different prompt. So essentially what I do here is I have one prompt here for the three different models, and I connect the same one, and then I just say change the pose of this man to front facing and ready to battle position. I guess it was this one here. And the prompts of this project are going to be a little bit messy because I changed them around, but you can get the grip, the gist of it. Another pro tip before I proceed too further is every time I write a prompt inside of Weavy here on these boxes, I like to use a lot of like line breaks. So then you know exactly, like for a specific different types of descriptions, you simply just do it's easier in the eyes to find and remove or change things. So remove the text from the jacket chest, and then keep the men's proportions the same, all like really visually uh, separated. So if you do like this, for example, like it's a bit hard to find where is where, what is what. So I like to have a lot of line breaks. That's something that like a tidy kind of tip. And then I just proceed to do a bunch of variations of these, changing the prompt a little bit and seeing what I want, what I'm happy with. You can see a bunch of generations I did here. Like you can see these ones here, you see with the background. I wasn't mentioning the background on these yet, and then I mentioned later, and then it started to get these ones here. And you can see how they change, and then I started saying change the clothes a little bit, make it more futuristic and blah blah blah, give him a gun, whatever. And then you can do anything you want, just changing, making little tweaks on the prompt, and then you go around and test different models and everything. As you can see, Flux Context here really wasn't loyal to my face at all, so it just changed it completely. which depending on what you want, if you're not fussy about the face, like you can still use it, but you can always use this as well as like a style type frame, and then you bring back your face and try to do some stitch up kind of thing. Or you can also go in Photoshop, or you can do whatever you want, how you want, whatever works best for you. And then once I have the scene, the second scene, I upscale it again, and then I start going to the video. That's just a different one that I separated here. Let me bring this actually to. Oh yeah, I left this one here in the middle just because I used this new one here, and I said, yeah, imagine this robotic human hybrid guy in a different pose, etc., in the middle of the city, floating platform, all these kind of things that you can imagine. If you feel like you're not getting super creative with your prompts and you don't want to write this entire prompt, you can also use a node called Prompt Enhancer, which is pretty powerful. And you can select any AI model here that you want. You can have Google, you can have Meta, you can have OpenAI. I usually always go with ChatGPT 5. And then this is going to give a much more robust prompt from whatever you type in here. If you type a prompt, for example, a cat, and then you bring it here, and then you run this model, there's very specific cases that you can use this that are very good, and I can show them later. Let's just wait a little bit. It's quite fast, so should be ready. Yeah, so from a cat to a fluffy orange tabby cat sitting on a sunny windowsill, glazing outside. So you can see the power of this prompt enhancer. As the more detail you are on your initial prompt, though, it is always better because you can also give it instructions like do not add background kind of thing. Or actually, these instructions are better to go on this model instructions here. So whatever you write in here, this is not going to be on your output. It's just going to be instructions, so it generates the perfect prompt enhanced for you. Okay, we're not using them here because I have all my prompts ready for this example, but I'm not going to go over each one of the scenes that are generated because I did a bunch of variations. I was playing around, so I say hero pose, all kinds of stuff, keep the facial features and whatever. As you can see, I left this here as an example because it got rid of my little eye scope. And then what I said, simply, I just created a new node and say, make the facial features more consistent with the second image. And then I connected back all the way to this image here from the router. So then you can see that the power of how you can continue to reuse everything over and over again so you don't lose anything. And if you want to change one thing, it's going to be useful later. So that's one thing that I love about this workflow is the scalability of it. And then once you have all your static scenes and you're happy with all the static frames, what you do is you start going to generate the videos. And for these transitions here, I used Kling 2.1 first and last frame, which is one of my favorites because essentially it gets super consistent with the first and the last frame, and then the transition in between, depending on your prompt, it just go crazy and it can literally do some amazing things and it can be very consistent, and it just does such a good job, as you're gonna see here right now. I'm gonna play this for you. So it's pretty powerful, and I haven't even done a very robust prompt for this one here. So you can see how cool this is, and then it matches perfectly with the last frame. It matches perfectly with the first frame. The in-between is what's different and what it's generating in, and you can guide the in-between of the scene with your prompt here. So human to robot. And by the way, a lot of people ask, oh, where do you find these different nodes? This here is essentially a prompt node, but then you can literally come here and rename it. So you can keep it everything tidy, transition or something, whatever, and it's gonna be like this. So then you can find it later much more easily. Okay? So then here, transform into a hybrid human. Make sure when you're using video, image to video, always including your prompt like verbs of action and movement. Because if you just say things like image, describing the image, it's not gonna do what you expect. And in touching on this point, something I forgot to say is before you start all this process, one very important thing to know is what are you trying to achieve with this? What is your objective here? Like what is the result that you expect at the very end of this workflow? Like, do you want to automate everything? Do you want to have multiple iterations? Do you have a specific image you want to generate or video? So when you have this process in your mind, it makes everything easier to create the perfect workflow and use the right models. So that's something to keep in mind, because if you just start freestyling, you're going to get a messy file. You're not going to achieve what you want. So moving back to the videos, I have this first transition. I have a few variations of it using different end frames, as you can see. Let me just play everything. So this is pretty much me having the same first frame, but then connecting each different one here on the last frame section. And then we start going to the other scenes transitions here, which you can see went from the AI Rioni to something with the background. And then from this one here, it goes to the more action-packed bit. So then you have all these little transitions, these animations, these clips that match perfectly with the start and the end. And then you can just put them all together, essentially. So we're almost at the end of this workflow here. But I'm going to show another one later if you want to stick around. But you can see, you can just go anything. You can iterate so much. You can just actually, before you start hitting run, you can just make a whole bunch of workflows and connect everything together before. And then you just select everything. You're going to see the amount of credits here at the bottom. And then you hit run. And then it's going to run everything in sequence all the way from the start of your path that you selected to the last one. So then these ones here are going to be dependent on this one. So these are going to generate first, and then these ones, and you can just do everything at once. You don't have to keep going one by one, which is amazing for fast iteration. And that's pretty much it from Weavy here. Once you have all your clips, you can obviously do a little upscale. I love to do that as well because you can see the sharpness is much better. Wait, let me see here. Yeah. Yeah, so you can see it's much sharper, crisp. It's brighter. Yeah, it's just better. So then, yeah, from here, I started doing some more transitions and upscaling. So it goes from this to this. And one cool one that I did, and here's another trick as well. Some models, they don't have the last frame. They only have the first frame. But this, for example, this Minimax Hailuo, it's really good for like more crazier movements and crazier transitions. So you just put the first frame and the prompt, and it generated this more like action-packed kind of vibe, where it doesn't just stay with me, with my body there. But then what happened is you don't have the last frame of this to make a seamless connection with the next clip that you want. So what you do here, you can still do something with that, which is using an extract video frame node, which is essentially transforming any frames from this video into an image, and then you can use it as the first frame of a different node. Like I think I did this here, or on the last frame here or something. Or I used this for something. I don't know, but that was just an example. But yeah, you can continue to develop your story just like that. You generate a video, it doesn't necessarily need the first and the last frame, but then you extract the last frame from the ones that you from your favorite, and then you continue to generate new images, new videos, and until you're happy, until you have everything. So as you can see here, there's some other clips. So okay, we reached the end of this workflow here. We have the videos here. So how do you put everything together? How do you make this into a proper video? And what I like to do, what I like to use is using DaVinci, because as you can see, let me just turn off the tracks here because a bit loud. When you just connect them together, wait a second, let me just make me a bit bigger here. When you connect these clips together, I'll show an example here. If you bring, let's say, this one here, and this one here, I think these are the ones. Yeah, so this one starts here. Yeah, you see this little, you can see this little like stutter that it does, right? Because essentially it's the exact same frame repeating, and then it's gonna go into a completely different movement, so it changes it. So one way I like to fix this, and here's when it comes your experience as a designer, as a motion graphics professional, as an editor, or as a creative, is mixing these tools with traditional tools to make something even more production ready. So what I did here, I like to use this incredible transition inside DaVinci, which is the smooth cut, which it kind of blends perfectly the last and the first frame. Oh wait, I can just click here, right? 12 frame, and then it's gonna say, oh, you want to trim it because you don't have enough room on the clip, and then you trim it. So then what you do is, this is pretty much kind of blending better the scene and easing it much more seamless, because it's gonna skip the little stutter and go straight like a few frames onto the continuing the story and the video. So you can see the transition here is much better than if you just do like this. You see the little stop in there? And once you do this, much more seamless. See? So that's a quick pro tip that I like for mixing videos with first and last frame. And then, okay, I needed a track as well, right? So I wanted to have this AI Rayoni. And how did I build that? I used the Suno tool, which is a insane tool where you have here AI Rayoni, where you can see how many versions I did. And I'm gonna also give away today here my secret for Suno, which is a GPT that I created, a custom-made GPT. Give me a second, I'll share that with you. Which is the Suno Music Maker GPT, which essentially transforms anything that you write into a song with lyrics and the song description. So what I like to do is, I just type here, write a song about AI Rayoni and how creatives need to embrace AI into their workflow. And then you hit enter, and it's gonna give you two boxes of text. Very easy to copy and paste. Beautiful lyrics with verse, chorus, verse 2, bridge, and everything. Rayoni speaks through circuits, wires, and flame, blah, blah, blah. You can guide it much better, like rhyme this with that, use these keywords, whatever. So then you simply copy here and paste here in the lyrics section in Suno. And then you go back to ChatGPT, copy the track description, come back here into styles, and then you have everything you need. And then you just stick around vocal, gender. Let's go with male. Weirdness, I always like to keep this low and the style influence a bit high. AI, Rayoni, live stream. And then you simply hit create. And in very few minutes, or a minute actually, it's gonna give you two options straight away. And it's awesome. The quality of this, it's really, really good. You can iterate a bunch of things. I can imagine for a musician how good this might be, because then you can just remix your own ideas here. So let's see quickly. I don't know if you can hear it. Let me know if you can hear the music. Yeah? Can you hear the music? Yeah, cool. Let's just wait for it to get to the lyrics part. Speaks through circuits, wires and flames. That's so good. Guiding the dreamers, igniting the name. Awesome. Anyway, like you can see, I went for a more futuristic vibe here, techno vibe. Which is more suited for like an action-packed kind of thing. And also they just released, these were done with the 4.5, and they just released the V5 now, which is in beta, which is sick. I just tested it today. The quality is amazing. Like I'm gonna be building a bunch of, writing a bunch of music here. Yeah, so then essentially what I do is I just download the track and jump back into DaVinci, come here, drop the music in, and I can play around with the stems as well, because the beauty thing about Suno is you can create stems, which is essentially separating the vocals from the instrumental. Get stems pro. I don't think the V5 has the option of stems yet. Yeah, they don't. So that's good to know. So V4.5, oh no, it's because the track wasn't done. Okay, so you can. Yeah, so you click here, get stems. You can select all detected stems, which spends more credits, or vocal plus instrumental. So then the good thing is, because this track here, for example, we had a whole lyric, but I didn't want to show, I didn't want the whole lyrics to come in. So what I did is I just got the AI Rayoni and I just stopped here. And I continued with the instrumental. So that's the level of craft that I'm talking about. Like you can really tailor your asset if you have professional tools alongside you. And that is pretty much it. You have the AI Rayoni video done. I am gonna be sharing another quick workflow. If you have any questions, if you want to drop them in the chat, please do so. I can answer them now. But in the meantime, I really wanted to share something that is very special. And before I share that, I'll just bring it to you the code for Weavy. So thank you very much to the Weavy guys for the partnership on this live stream here. You're having $10 off on your first month, which is pretty good if you want to iterate and test this fast, which I highly recommend, because these tools they change fast and you got to be on top of it. So you got to stay curious, you got to invest, you got to learn, because these are very powerful, and I can't see a future where this is not going to be requested from every single creative employer or business. Everything is going to be requesting this kind of workflow. So you got to be on top of it. And the best way is to test it out. So with this discount, you're going to get a bit more value from your Weavy subscription. Make sure you save that. And another announcement before I jump on my last couple of workflows is I am starting an AI community and like learning program. Very good friend. Yeah, the goal here is to really help all sides of the creators, clients, agencies, suits, executives, everyone. So we are launching AI community. Are you hearing me? Oh, sorry. Is that better now? Sorry, I didn't think the video was gonna have audio. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, I will share a different I'll show it in here. It's better. So essentially, we are launching an AI community and learning program, which is a hub, like a networking hub, to learn, to communicate, to stay on top of all these new tools that are coming up. And I want to leave a message here from my partner in this adventure here that he very kindly wrote for me, which is a very interesting food for thought, which goes like this. Okay, I'm just gonna read it because I want to give credit to him. So he says this: we are facing two changes in our industry. First, creative professionals who don't master AI won't stay competitive. End of story. Every day there's a new tool with new features and new creative paradigm, and we are expected to learn every day. But between deadlines and family life, changing diapers, who has the time? I don't, and I'm trying to make some time out of thin air, but we're doing our best. That's first point. Second point, there's this belief that everyone is able to create using AI. But in a world where everyone can create, we will need people with actual taste and experience who knows what to create. So the big and bold culture shifting ideas the world actually needs, not just a bunch of memes and everything. anything in whatever videos. So to address, it's less about the pretty videos and images, and more about the actual message, the emotion, the ideas, the results, the conversion, not just a bunch of, hey, I can create this. I did this in Gemini or whatever, ChatGPT. And to address these 2 points, we're co-creating this community, and it's built to help you do exactly that: compress and organize all the AI learning and the latest news, sharpen creative judgment, and turn big thinking into brave work. So if you want to be notified before everyone else and get early access, fill out the form. I'm gonna send the form, which is this form here. I'm gonna send it in the chat right now, and I'm gonna pin it. Oops. Shorten URL. Copy. Wait. What's going on, mate? Okay. No shorten. Okay, so if you jump on this pin message, fill out this form, and you'll be on the wait list. And we have, we're gonna announce a first test run program for the first 20 people who sign up. We're finishing all the details now. This is gonna be super packed with a lot of value. So I really think this is gonna be like incredible for anyone that wants to create using AI to enhance their workflow. And yeah, our goal here is to really help creatives and support you to stay on top of everything, to have a creative superpower pretty much, and some kind of mentor community for you. Okay, so to announce that, I created a few assets inside of Weavy, and I'm gonna share them with you now, just so you can see the power of the fast iteration side of it, how you can integrate other images and everything, and just generate everything in one place, like portrait, landscape, square, and everything. So in here, I wrote a prompt: an AI creative community, super abstract image representing creativity and the free flow of ideas, make it infrared photography style. That's the vibe we wanted. And then here I have an instruction prompt, which goes inside this system prompt node here, which is connected to an LLM, any LLM node, which essentially just runs ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Meta, anything that you want. So I selected here ChatGPT. You can bring in an image, so it's going to analyze the image. So what I did here essentially is, you're an expert text to image prompt generator, and you have decades of blah, 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 blah. And you requested to generate 10 unique ideas in prompts of images, and then you make them separate each one with a line break and an asterisk. So then what you do with that, you're gonna hit run, and it's gonna come back with all the ideas with a little asterisk here. You're gonna understand why the asterisk in a minute. So here you have all your 10 ideas, and then what you do is you create an array node, which is this one here, which essentially separates one block of text into a bunch of other texts, or you can just add your own here. You can just click one by one and create a bunch of items here manually. But what I did is I connected this whole idea generated from ChatGPT 5, this concepts generator, and then in this little section here with split text by, and then it's going to split on the asterisks. So you have exactly 10 concepts here. What you do later is you connect this to a text iterator, which is essentially going to run each one of it, whatever you connect to it. For example, I connect this one here to this ideogram V3, which is pretty good for like CGI images. And a little negative prompt here, no realism, no real world photography, just because I wanted something very CGI kind of vibe. And then what's going to happen is if you click here and select, you're going to see it's going to do 10 runs because it's connected to the text iterator with the 10 ideas. So then it's going to have 10 new versions. I'm going to just run it. It's going to have all the 10 new versions all in here in the same node. So that's really good when you want to have a bunch of iterations fast. And just kind of automate it. So for example, one example of automation, you can just change this little prompt node here, like for trees or planets or intergalactic vibe or whatever. And it's gonna generate all the 10 concepts, split them, create the text iterator to run all of the 10 different ones in here. So we're finished. So you can see here, it generated 10 new images. Actually, let's open full screen. So you can see the ideas are similar from the first 10 generations because the ideas, I didn't change the ideas, but I can easily just get 10 new ideas by just clicking run in here. And it's just gonna generate 10 new ideas with the asterisk separator. The only thing I forgot to say here is only concept without asterisk is the first one, because then it keeps adding on the first one, and that's an extra array item. So you can also just come here and delete it like I did just now. So there you have it. You have 10 more ideas which are going to run again. If you just click here, run, it's going to run all the 10 new ideas, and you're going to have 10 more ideas. So that's the power of the iteration in here. Once I was happy with one of them, I just connect to another upscale here. And also I connected to this stable diffusion outpaint to generate the portrait mode. So essentially, I don't even need a prompt here. You just select how many pixels top, how many pixels down, how many pixels right, how many pixels left, the amount of creativity, and you can select a seed, which in this case here, I used the same seed from the image that I generated in here, which you can find in here. And a seed is essentially using the same style, the same vibe. For example, I wanted to continue to use the same style in here. If you click on this little eye icon here, you can see the seed. You can just copy the seed and come here in the outpaint, paste here, and it's going to be more consistent. That's like a bit of an advanced level. If you want to review or refine the 10 ideas, you can do it manually. Yes, I believe you can just by like changing it here. For example, inside the LLM node, a cosmic river, a cosmic volcano, you know. So this, where is it? A cosmic, oh, here. So you can see here that it's already updating live in the array here. So whatever you type here, it's going to update in there. And this is going to update everything everywhere else as well. Is that clear? Spillover. Yeah, awesome, cool. So we are happy with this one here. upscale, and then what I did is I did this text here as PNGs in Photoshop, very large, so I could play around with the size, both horizontal and stacked versions. And then here I have a couple of text prompts, which is essentially text prompt. I'll just delete here. And then what happened is I bring all this information here inside a compositor node, or two compositor nodes here in this case, which is essentially a mini Photoshop inside Weavy. So you have layers, you can move things around, you can composite. That's very good as well for if you want to give more guidance in where the character is positioned. You can remove the background from the characters and place them somewhere. And the good part of that is you can reuse the same text, the same images and everything. And if you go all the way back and change the image input, it's going to update all of it at the same time. So as you can see, let me see here if yeah, as you can see in this example, I did this already kind of thing. So if you just choose a new image here and hit upscale, for example, if I do like this, it should update at least the landscape ones to this new one, or you could just bring straight from here, but I'm upscaling them. So you can see that it's going to update automatically. So for this here, to create a bunch of different assets, that's very powerful. And then the only thing I have to do is I have to run this outpaint as well to generate the portrait background. And then you can always download everything manually, download current, download all of it. For example, when I was sending these to approved with my partner in the community, I just hit here, download all. It's gonna give you a zip. You just save it, open, and all the 31 images are gonna be on your zip, and you can just send them across. So that's really good when you have to play around with a bunch of variations and approvals and stuff. So as you can see, yeah, here it's all updated now, everything. So you can see the power of this kind of workflow. So you can replicate that, and you can change the text. If you change the text here, it's going to update everywhere as well. And you can change the fonts and everything inside the compositors. If you click here, edit, you can simply select one of the text layers, and you can see here the font, position, rotation. And from what I heard, this compositor node, they're still developing it to be more robust and a bit more Photoshop-like. You can see a bunch of workflows inside their website. They have a bunch of example workflows, how to go by all the different tools and all the different nodes. And the last thing is just a little export node, which is as simple as that. So you can save it from the compositor, or you can also have like a preview node whenever you have, for example, if I want to crop this, you can get a crop node, connect it in here, and then let's say 1 by 1, and then you just recrop. And then if you want to preview it properly, you can simply just connect to a preview node. It's essentially just a rendering kind of node. And there you have it. And then you can easily just play around, see how it's going to look. Or if you want to change inside the compositor, it's going to change everywhere else. So that's really good, really powerful. And yeah. And then the last thing I did was just doing the videos, which is a little prompt here. You're an expert text to video prompt, same concept and everything. Using ChatGPT again to create a proper video prompt. And then I use VO3 image to video, and also Cdance to see which one I preferred. There you have it, the video. Beautiful. You have the landscape, the portrait one as well. Pretty sick. And then yeah, just a little upscale. to finalize. Okay. I think that's it. We're a bit over. It's like 1 hour and 20 minutes. I would love to ask if anyone has any questions, if you enjoyed so far, if you think that you learned something, let me know in the comments, and make sure you sign up for the form, for the wait list. If you want to join our community, you're going to send all the details. It's going to be incredible. I can't wait to share more details about that and review my secret co-creator of this platform. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy. And please feel free to join my Discord. On the video description, I have the link to my Discord. Feel free to message me there. It's probably the best place to get in touch with me, or just add me on LinkedIn. Anywhere you want, you can find me. My socials, my everything is in the description of the video. I'm pretty active on Insta and LinkedIn and Discord, so if you want to hit me up in there. So Victor has a question, not sure about the router. Couldn't you just link the final image to multiple nodes? Yes, you could. You can. But, for example, I'll show you here an example. And I'll answer your question. It's probably better like this. So, for example, in here, I connected straight from Topaz Upscale all the way to the compositor and the video nodes and everything. Now, what if I wanted to change to this here? I don't want to use the upscale anymore. I need to connect this here to every single one again. So then I will have the updated images. But if you have a router, which I should have done in this case here, let me just connect the router. Oops, not here because this is portrait. Let me just connect the router. Oops, not here as well. So here, here, and here. No, that's it. That's the two. Oh yeah, in here to analyze the image. So now the only thing I have to do is connect this one to the router. Make sense? So then, like, instead of using the Topaz Upscale as the main node, I'm using the router. So everything stays connected, but I can change whatever is the input anytime. Does that answer your question, Victor? Yeah. Just, okay, is it possible to export the video in RAW so I can work on it later in Premiere DaVinci for color grading? That's a good question. I think that's going to depend on which model you use. From what I heard, the ones inside Weavy, that they don't allow that. The latest one, the Cdance, Google VO3, or all the others like Minimax. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, you have this entire toolbar here on the left that has all the models here. You can literally just drag and drop. So you can search here for video, or you can go and select manually. And there's always like a tag like new model. They have a little ribbon to show you the new model. If you hover it, there's some more details. So you have everything in here. But if you are looking for something for a raw output, I would suggest kind of trying to do like a fake raw. Like, let's say you want a log output. You can just mention that in the generation, or just generate the image in the style and then do that later. But one thing that I heard from other professionals that use this kind of workflow mixed with traditional workflow is the best way to do is using the AI clips as final on your final graded project. because then you use your current grading as a guide, as a style guide for the actual AI output. So this way, the output is already in the correct color grade. Does that make sense? So that saves you the hassle and you don't have to keep faking a raw video inside of the AI. So that's what I would do, at least now that they don't generate the raw videos. That would be the best workflow to achieve professional outputs. But there is, in saying that, there is this little thing called Ray 3 that has just launched, and apparently it's insane. I have tried a little bit, but I have to experiment more, so I'm not going to go into it here. But apparently it has high definition HDR, and it has EXR, which I didn't know about that until I read it in this website, which is essentially a high depth video format where you can really craft. You can see the details in here. Yeah, so this model, I think the Weavy guys are working on bringing in as soon as they release an API. And yeah, I think once they put this in, I'm going to play around and I'll share another video about it. But that's essentially it. Are you guys want to finish, or you guys want to jump on another workflow? I had another one that I could share here with the 3D spinning logo if anyone is interested. But I'm happy to finish here because it's been an hour and a half in here. Yeah, it's a lot to ask. I mean, one thing to keep in mind, Gaujin, sorry if I mispronounce your name, Gaugin, sorry. One thing to keep in mind is this is the worst it will ever be. Like, these things are evolving so fast, and it's crazy how fast it is evolving. You probably noticed you cannot keep up. It's very hard to keep up. So yeah, like, it's gonna come. I'm sure the raw model is gonna come because probably there is a request from a lot of filmmakers and editors. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna come at some point, or people are just gonna generate such good videos that you can just do what I mentioned. Like, you don't have to go to the color grade process on the AI videos. You just do that in your current videos, and whenever you want to insert an AI video in the middle of it, you just use that as a style guide or as a color grading guide. Make sure you feed this information to the models and give some examples, some still frames from your grading, so then it has like a more visual reference, and you just generate the image based on that. Bruno Garcia, is it possible to have a layered output for external compositing? I don't think it generates. You mean like having like a Photoshop PSD file as an export? From what I understood from your question, I don't think they do that yet. It's up to you to show another workflow. Okay, cool. I mean, I'm just going to show this because it's quite simple. I'm not going to go to each detail, but I'm going to show my thinking behind this workflow here because I think it's really powerful. So Bruno, to answer your question, you can do some kind of trick like exporting each one. Like, that's how you have to do now. Like I said, Weavy is a fairly new tool. I'm pretty sure they're gonna think about it because it's created by creative directors and creatives and artists, so they know about these needs, and I'm pretty sure they will also implement some kind of more editable tools in the future, more robust tools as they grow as well. So don't worry, this is probably gonna come. Make sure you go into their Discord and also message them and go on the feedback and features suggestions chat and just type it in there and give them. I probably added 10 feature suggestions for them there. So it's just good for them to keep track of everything that people are asking, and you can upvote, you can like whatever other suggestions are in there. Oh, okay, so you mean for video compositing. Okay, that takes me to a different answer, which is I heard that they have an actual timeline builder for video, because at the moment, actually, let me open AI Rayoni back. So for example, in here, if I wanted to collate all the videos, there is something called video concatenator, which essentially glue together one video after the other. As long as they are the exact same dimensions, you just have to make sure they all match the same dimensions. Otherwise, you have a weird glitch that happens here. So you can either crop using a crop node before you put it in here, or before you even generate the video, make sure you crop the image and they are all in the perfect image. And what you do, you simply start putting them together in here. And once you hit run, I'm not sure if these are the same size. Oh, I think they are. Yeah. Let's see the difference between these two. Yeah, it's not going to make much sense because these are not continuing videos. But you have this tool here. If you want to see how it will look, a bunch of different videos all together, you can use this video concatenator, which is good. But it's not like a professional video editor tool. But like I said, as I heard, a little bird told me they are working on an actual timeline builder where you can layer videos and you can use fading, crossfade, effects, some kind of video editing tools. So yeah, if you see here, it's going to put together both 5-second videos, one after the other. So if you have two perfectly matching start and frame videos, like continued videos, it's going to do a better job. That's what you can do at the moment. But like I said, if you want to do a proper craft, go back into DaVinci or Premiere where you're familiar with and you like it already. So that's what I suggest now, as they are still building those kind of tools. And you can do a better job here. You can do whatever you want as you would normally, which is my preferred process. Like, I like to use Weavy more for the AI side of things, and then always do a finesse polish at the end. I guess that's it. I might skip that second workflow, guys, just because it's been an hour and a half here. But essentially what I was going to say, I shared this the other day and a lot of people wanted to know more about it, which is essentially turning a black and white logo into a full 3D spin thing, which is pretty amazing. I've done a few for myself. If you see here, like, these are just a bunch of iterations you can do, and it's incredible. And you can just change your logo, like I did with Weavy logo there. Like, you can do a bunch of them, and then you just connect in here, generate the image from it. You can write the style texture, which I did here, ethereal, sharp, beautiful gradients, blah, blah, blah. Here you have a few other prompts that guide the model to generate this 3D version. I'm not going to go into details, but essentially it's just telling it to create something like this. You connect the image, connect the text, the prompt all together here, and it's going to generate the image. And then you bring this into a video model, like a Kling first and last frame model, which is here. And the little trick for this one is, because you wanted to loop it, what I did essentially is I have the same image going in the first frame and the last frame. So that makes it a perfect spin. And as you can see here, negative prompt, I added no easing in or out. So it's going to be a continuous motion. And then you can bring it into Premiere or After Effects and do a time ramp, a speed variation, keyframe it better so you can do a better job. So that is one of my favorite workflows I built. And I went even further, like generating backgrounds based on the actual 3D generation. You have a few variations here. For example, Gemini Nano Banana or Sea Dream. I always use these both together just to see which one performs better. And then from this, I remove the logo and generate also the 3 sizes using Sea Dream, which is 16 by 9, 1 by 1, 9 by 16, all seamlessly. If I want to come here and change the logo, change the image, and just hit generate across all. Actually, let's do this test here. Let's use this one. And I'm literally just, wait, let me get, because this is using the text as well. So let me use this prompt here as well. Copy. Cool. So future. Okay, so this is doing 3. Okay, I just wanted to remember what it was. Oh, actually, okay, yeah. Anyway, style texture. Oh yeah, here it is. I just want to get rid of all the unnecessary thing. Okay, so melting lava with eruptions, lava, snow, blah, blah, blah. And then what I'm doing here essentially is I'm using a prompt enhancer using ChatGPT, same process with the asterisks and stuff to generate a new array with 3 versions and then a text iterator and then Sea Dream and Nano Banana to generate instantly the 3 things. So because it's all connected to the same node here, and then I can just change whatever I want by connecting to the router here. Let's just wait a little bit. It's going to generate everything. Oh, I think it's getting, wait. It's using the old prompt. Let me cancel it. So it's kind of mixing both prompts here. So yeah, I have to run the prompt enhancer. So it's going to generate everything based on the lava style. Wait a minute. Okay, surreal volcanic landscape. Okay, there we go. So then, as you can see here, it's going to do 3 each, 3 Gemini, 3 Sea Dream. So then we're going to have a beautiful, beautiful backgrounds. Yeah, you see, sometimes it goes crazy. That's why I like to do multiple generations, but still not bad. I could probably add some more prompts, like keep the logo centered, big in the middle, something like that, you know, like it did here. It did a pretty good job. And then you can go ahead and animate it more. Or for example, let's use this one. Or let's use, let me see, yeah, this one here. Remove the floating logo, remove the W logo. Let's see if you do a good job. I'm not sure. I'll just do this one first. Yeah, anyway, you get the gist of it. Essentially, it's all automated from the initial logo. So that's the kind of system you can build here. And then what I did here, what was this process here? Oh, I don't remember. Oh yeah, I generate essentially a sphere from the same texture, which didn't really work here. But then I do a little video where it transforms from the sphere to the logo in a nice thing, nice little transition motion. Oh yeah, it did a pretty good job. So then from here, I can just hit this run, hit run, and yeah, you're gonna see the volcano and everything. And you have essentially consistent backgrounds with the logo seamlessly. You can use it as you please, different sizes. You can add text, create a compositor, and continue with whatever process you have. I guess I'm going to wrap up, guys. If anyone has any other question, let me put myself here. Cool. So I will. Sorry about that. I'll leave the code here. I'll wrap it up. Okay. I guess you guys, I hope you guys had fun. You enjoyed my life. Sorry for dragging a little bit too long. And sorry for my system crashing briefly. But I'm glad you guys are back and interacting. Make sure you sign up for the pinned comment in the waitlist. I promise you, you're gonna love what we're building. Make sure to follow me, subscribe to my channel, ask me questions, follow me. I will be sharing much more robust, different workflows, other types of mix with traditional and AI workflows. I'll try to bring as much value as I can every time, and I hope to see you next time. All right? Peace out, guys. Stay in touch. Stay curious. Experiment with everything. Make sure you use my code. Sign up to Weavy. Play with it. Experiment a lot. And you have a good day, wherever you are in the world. And I see you next time. Thank you so much.